Alright, so I want to go over a very important point about the value of a square root, which, I'm surprised by how few people know it very well. And more and more recently, especially with AQA and OCR, I think EdXO have been sprinkling it around as well, is you get a question like this: x squared equals 36 or something. So what this is you've got like the balance kind of thing, x squared 36, and you've got to try find, and this is a 2 marker, by the way, which is kind of like a giveaway. So it's saying, like, it's essentially saying to you, look, find the x, which if I multiply by itself gives me 36. Now, if we want to make this equal to x, we've got to square root both sides. So, but even if you don't do that, you can just think of this as like, look, what number, if I times it by itself, will give me 36? And a lot of people get very comfy and go straight to x equals 6. And that's great, you've got your first mark. But then people leave it because they don't understand how you get the second mark. And here's what it is. 6 times 6 will give you 36, but can you think of another number which you can multiply by itself as also, which will give you 36? And it's this, minus 6. Because a minus number times a minus number gives you a positive, and then obviously 6 times 6 is 36. So for the second mark, you also say, or and, it doesn't matter what you use. They're more bothered that you show that it's 6 or minus 6. You can also write like this, if you feel all fancy as well. That's something that people don't know. And it comes from this. The reason for it is this, because think about square root of, let's say 25. Now if you watch the introduction video, remember, the reason that this is 5 is because this is saying, give me a number which if I multiply by itself gives me 25. And people are straight away clear that, look, 5 times 5 gives you 25. So that equals, that's why this equals 5. But minus 5 times minus 5 also equals 25. So actually, the square root of 25 has 2 answers. It could be 5 or it could be minus 5. Now, so that's a very, very important thing. And sometimes what you do, you'll see as well in questions, kind of like we'll come across this thing, okay, let me tell you, for the most part, you're just going to have to deal with the positive. Because most of the time when these kind of questions come up, there's going to be like a shape, and you're going to be trying to find out this length. And you find out that x equals, say like 16, square root of 16 you get to. Now, obviously that means that the answer for x could be 4 or minus 4. Hope you understand that now. But here's the deal. Obviously if you're dealing with a rectangle, and this side is 4, that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense for this side to equal minus 4. Because think about it, what does it mean if something has a length of minus 4? So for most questions in GCSE, you'll be ignoring this one because it won't make sense in the question. But don't think all of a sudden that minus 16 isn't equal to minus 4. It is. It's also equal to 4, but it's also equal to minus 4. It's just that most of the questions where you're dealing with a square root, it's the negative value doesn't make sense. Alright? So keep that in mind. Obviously now, really keep that in mind. Let me, hopefully this will, remember this. I'm just doing this in the hope that me writing this all over the screen will somehow make you remember it. I hope you do. I hope you do, alright? So it's a very important thing. Keep this etched in your brain, and especially as we go through more and more questions, through the whole thing, eventually I'm going to go through exam papers for you and everything. And I'm going to keep bringing this up because a lot of people don't understand this, they don't get this. But excellent, alright? So finally, let's kind of do loads of exam questions with Surds.